Ortega looks to join his trainer, the Gemini Kid, in the finals of the Weaver Cup. It's one heck of an opposition. On the way there, Joey Sylvia of the New Dynasty.
And Joey Sylvia, as we've documented so much over the past few months, he don't travel alone. You see other members of the New Dynasty liable to be out here. I see Steve Green at ringside right now.
Although Sylvia a lot of times is more than happy to use his teammates to his advantage. That's exactly what he's doing now, hauling across the ring.
And that's right, and Sylvia waiting in the ring for El Fuego. Ortega makes his way back in the ring. And look at this, he reverses on Sylvia. Sylvia face down on the canvas again. Big slap across the face.
Ortega slaps the taste right out of the mouth of Joey Sylvia and spinal tap.
Oh my goodness, the look of pain on the face. Big chop to the chest. Sylvia back down to the canvas.
As I've mentioned before, and I love to point out so much, Joey Sylvia has never won any major anything, whether it be a title, whether it be a Rumble, whether it be a Weaver Cup. Joey Sylvia has become the biggest choke artist in the entire history of CWF Mid-Atlantic, but he can right all the wrongs of the past here tonight by winning the 2006 edition of the Weaver Cup.
Well, you know, he was one of the favorites when we started into this, a bit undersized compared to some of the other competitors, but his ability is unlimited. I'm not so sure why he does what he does, why he aligns himself with who he does, why he doesn't try to do this on ability alone, except for the fact maybe all the years he's tried, he's not been able to succeed.
You're exactly right. I mean, his athletic ability, second to none. You can't argue with that. He's almost a phenom with his God-given ability. But with Trent Wild and Steve Green at ringside, that is what's led him to what victories he has gained in 2006.
That's right. And right now you see both men pacing on the outside of the ring as Sylvia goes for a cover, and oh my goodness.
Ortega, legs laced around the head of Sylvia, spinning around head scissor.
And Sylvia holding the head. And look at this, going right for the arm, going to soften that thing up again. And look at this, Ortega thrown out of the ropes.
Ortega crashes very unceremoniously to the outside and right at the feet of the New Dynasty as Sylvia, just like we saw him do in his quarterfinal match with the Osiris, complained to official Red Jones that something's wrong with the arm.
And I'll tell you what, I don't know what that was, but whatever it is, Steve Green is getting fed something on the outside of the ring by Ortega. Oh my goodness, flying kick through the ropes by Sylvia.
Sylvia just went aerial straight through the middle ropes, right into the face of Ortega.
I don't know what they were fighting with down there, what in the world. It looked like Green come out to the ringside area with something that he was trying to put in the face of Ortega. Ortega reversed it and actually stuffed it in the face of Green. Now Green getting a boot in for extra measure, but it opened up the opportunity for Sylvia to come through the ropes.
Yeah, there's absolutely no telling what in the world that was the New Dynasty had. They'll stoop to any lengths to try and gain a win for any of their members, and now Sylvia rolling Ortega back in the ring.
Ortega, as long as he's breathing, he's a dangerous man. And I say breathing, and what do we got? A choke hold straight across the throat by Sylvia. The referee counts. Sylvia don't break into the 4. I mean, it's smart, but it's not legal.
Exactly right. And now Sylvia, thanks to the advantage the New Dynasty has given him, measuring Jesse Ortega, big chop, and now looking to set him up, shoot off the ropes. Ortega ducks one clothesline, springboard, catches his arm, lucha style.
Oh my goodness, back to the arm. Look at this, going for the Fujiwara. And once again, Sylvia very close to the ropes. That bottom rope, his best friend right now.
Ortega has employed the Fujiwara armbar so much in the few years he has been a professional wrestler. He has won many, many matches with the Fujiwara armbar.
And right now, he is taking the boots to the skull, courtesy of Joey Sylvia, who's trying to advance to the final of the 2006 Johnny Weaver Invitational Tournament. And I'll tell you, he could make history tonight. You know, he could break the jinx, but he's got to get through Ortega for a shot at Gemini Kid in the cup.
That's exactly right. Gemini Kid, all those years of wrestling have finally led to something great, and that great isn't a spot of the finals of the 2006 Weaver Cup. One of these men will meet him. It'll be a tremendous contest either way. I mean, you've got teacher versus student on one side, and the tradition versus the insane ego of the new school, Joey Sylvia and the New Dynasty on the other side.
And you got to wonder about the motives of all of these men on the New Dynasty. Look at this, wrestling, a roll up to a small package by Jesse Ortega out of nowhere.
Oh, and Sylvia came right back. Big clothesline through Ortega.
What a violent shot by Sylvia. Ortega is down, holding onto the ropes, trying to find his way back to his feet. Sylvia back up first, got control of this match.
Sylvia now hooking the head of Jesse Ortega, places him alongside the top rope, and now Sylvia kick right underneath the jaw of Ortega.
Ortega crumples down to the apron. I mean, he's not made it down to the floor, which is lucky for him considering you've got this new dynasty goons running around the outside of the ring here. Sylvia brings him back in, and Ortega unloads with a shot to the midsection and straight to the face. Now they're exchanging them.
Exchanging haymakers as Sylvia and Ortega, like they've done so many times in the past.
It looks like Sylvia has got Ortega down. He's coming outside, stepping through the ropes, mouthing off to the crowd. And you got to watch Joy. He will use those ropes.
Sylvia flies, but he flew right into the outstretched knees of Jesse Ortega, who almost had him in a bow and arrow-like submission.
And only the ropes saved Sylvia again from what could have been the end of this match. Heads up wrestling by Ortega. Ortega off into the ropes, and Sylvia ducks under.
Ducks under, almost caught him with an ankle lock, I thought, on the way down. And now Sylvia repositioning himself, hooking the arms of Jesse Ortega into a submission maneuver. Jesse Ortega has the submission move applied on him.
And I tell you what, this is what we keep talking about over and over, is the God-given ability of Joy Sylvia. You see him do things like this. Why does he need the goofs on the outside?
Oh, Ortega though rolls through. Almost pinned Sylvia, or I should say Sylvia almost pinned himself.
And I tell you what, Sylvia a little angry about this.
Big exploder.
Oh man, he picked him up and dropped him hard. Ortega's holding the back, trying to figure out where he's at. Sylvia goes over for the cover. Almost a 3 count.
Sylvia possibly getting a little bit frustrated, not being able to put El Fuego away in this one. And plus, how much is the previous quarterfinal matchup against Osiris taken out of Joey Sylvia? I almost want to say Sylvia's moving a step slower today than he was in the last round of the tournament.
And you got to look at this. Sylvia going to attack the arm of Ortega. Looks like he was setting up for a Fujiwara of his arm, but Ortega having nothing to do with it.
Ortega now with the cover on Sylvia, and only a 2.
Sylvia, he's able to kick out of that one. I don't know where it's coming from. Both these men looking a little weary at this point, but they are beating the fire out of each other.
Sylvia slumped back into the corner, trying to gain some kind of breather. Ortega has him hooked from behind. Oh, Sylvia laying on his feet, or this one may have been over. Now Sylvia with Ortega. Ortega reverses it. Ortega could be PhD, but no. Sylvia slips from behind, and Sylvia now going for his own Fujiwara.
I'll tell you what, Sylvia showing out here, able to reverse some things. Look at this. Ortega able to grab the foot, but he couldn't stop that second one. Ortega's down.
Big Enziguri with the cover, and Ortega's out.
Tell you what, Joy Sylvia's got to be thinking right now, what do I do to get my partners in here to help me win so I can go on to get beat up by Gemini Kid in the final?
That's exactly right. Sylvia getting frustrated, tearing the wrist tape off, but that's sure not going to pin the shoulders of Jesse Ortega. Sylvia taking it right back to the face of El Fuego.
El Fuego is staggering backwards. Oh, big uppercut, and El Fuego's flat on the logo in the middle of the ring, still fighting his way back up. Sylvia's waiting for him.
Sylvia's perched and waiting, just like you said. Ortega trying to get his broke wits back about him.
Joy Sylvia just setting the man up, knowing he won this tournament last year. What a feather in his cap. Nobody's home Fujiwara!
He just springboarded himself into Fujiwara, and Steve Green is up on the apron making sure Sylvia doesn't tap out.
Oh my goodness, wait a minute. Trent Wild just slid something into the ring. Joy Sylvia got it. I think, wait a minute, Ortega may have gotten it.
Ortega's got the chain in his hand. Ortega intercepted it while he had Sylvia trapped in the Fujiwara.
And if looks could kill, Trent Wild would have just killed, but he just took the chain square to the jaw and he's gone.
Sylvia, though, waiting on Ortega one more time. He's got Ortega up in his arms. Ortega lands on his own feet. Chain right between the eyes of Joey Sylvia.
Oh my goodness. Referee did not see the chain. 1, 2, 3. Oh my goodness. Ortega advances.
The chain backfires on the new dynasty. And El Fuego, Jesse Ortega, is headed to the finals of the Weaver Cup to meet his very own trainer, the